It was a chilly afternoon in the heart of Clearwater, a bustling yet close-knit town with a modern skyline mixed with historic charm. The streets buzzed with people rushing about their day, but underneath the surface, unspoken tensions lingered. Marie Johnson, a 28-year-old middle school teacher, had just finished her day. With a passion for nurturing young minds and a quiet resilience, Marie had become a beloved figure in the community. Her students adored her, and her peers admired her. Dedication. She was heading home after stopping at her favorite bakery for a quick coffee. Carrying a bag of pastries, she strolled toward her car parked on a quiet side street. As Marie reached for her car door, two police officers approached her, Officers Grant and Miller. Their expressions were stern, and their presence imposing. "Excuse me, ma'am," Officer Grant said, his voice firm. "We'd like to ask you a few questions." Marie turned, startled but polite. "Is there a problem?" she asked, clutching her bag tightly. Officer Miller stepped forward. "We've had reports of suspicious activity in the area. We'll need to search your belongings," he said. Marie frowned, confused. "I just left the bakery." "What kind of suspicious activity?" Grant's tone hardened. "Are you refusing a search?" Marie's heart raced. She wasn't resisting, but she couldn't ignore how wrong this felt. "No, I'm not refusing, but I'd like to know why you think I've done something wrong," she said calmly. Without further explanation, Miller moved closer, pulling out handcuffs. "Turn around," he ordered sharply. "We need to do this properly." Stunned, Marie complied, her mind racing. The cold metal of the cuffs tightened around her wrists. Passers-by averted their eyes, hurrying away, unwilling to intervene. Miller began searching her bag and coat, his actions brusque and impersonal. Marie felt a wave of humiliation wash over her. She had done nothing wrong, yet she was being treated like a criminal. "What are you hiding?" Grant asked, his tone accusatory. "Nothing," Marie replied firmly. "I want to call my brother," Grant scoffed. "Oh, and who's your brother?" "Let's see who's going to get you out of this." Marie, holding back tears, retrieved her phone and made a call. The line rang twice before a deep, authoritative voice answered. "Marie, what's wrong?" Her brother, Marcus Johnson, was not just any man. He was a prominent civil rights attorney known for his fierce advocacy for justice. "Marcus, I'm being detained. Olive and Main Street. They say I'm suspicious." Marcus's tone sharpened. "Stay where you are." "I'll be there in 5 minutes." Marie's pulse steadied slightly. She knew Marcus would handle this. Meanwhile, Grant and Miller exchanged uneasy glances but maintained their air of authority. Minutes later, a sleek black car pulled up. Marcus stepped out, exuding calm confidence in a tailored suit. "Officers," Marcus said, approaching them with deliberate steps. "Why is my sister in handcuffs?" Grant opened his mouth to respond, but Marcus raised a hand to stop him. "Don't. Instead, explain why you deemed it necessary to search and detain her without probable cause," Miller stammered. "There's been suspicious activity in the area." She matched the description. "Matched the description?" Marcus's voice grew icy. "Did she threaten you? Act aggressively? Carry anything legal?" "No, sir," Miller admitted, his voice barely audible. A small crowd had gathered, silently observing. Marcus's piercing gaze turned to Grant. "You violated her rights. You acted without justification. Was it her race that made her suspicious to you?" Grant fumbled for words. "Sir, we followed protocol." Marcus's tone cut through the air like a blade. "Your protocol is broken. And now you'll face the consequences." He pulled out his phone, calling the Police Oversight Division. His calm demeanor only heightened the gravity of his actions. "This is Marcus Johnson. I'm reporting Officers Grant and Miller for misconduct. They've detained my sister without cause, subjected her to an unlawful search, and demonstrated clear bias. I expect immediate action." The officers paled as the gravity of the situation sank in. Within moments, a superior officer arrived, followed by internal affairs investigators. The scene unfolded publicly as Grant and Miller were questioned and subsequently suspended. As the officers were led away, Marcus turned to Marie. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. Marie nodded, though her eyes brimmed with unshed tears. "Thank you for coming. I didn't know what else to do. You did the right thing," Marcus reassured her, placing a protective arm around her shoulders. "And they'll answer for this." The crowd began to disperse, murmuring about the dramatic turn of events. That day, Clearwater learned a powerful lesson. Justice must be upheld, and no one, not even law enforcement, is above accountability. For Marie, it was a painful reminder of the work still needed to ensure equality, but she stood taller knowing her brother's unwavering commitment to justice. Later that evening, Marie and Marcus sat in her small, cozy apartment. The aroma of freshly brewed tea filled the air as they reflected on the day's events. "Do you think things will change?" Marie asked, her voice tinged with both hope and skepticism. Marcus leaned back, his expression thoughtful. "Change is slow, but every action counts. What happened today exposed a deeper issue, and now more people are aware." "That's a step forward," Marie nodded, taking a sip of her tea. "I still feel shaken, but I also feel stronger. Watching you stand up for me reminded me that we have a voice." Marcus smiled, placing a reassuring hand over hers. "You've always had a voice, Marie. Today you used it." The story spread quickly in Clearwater. Local news outlets picked up the incident, sparking debates and conversations about racial bias and law enforcement protocols. Community leaders organized a town hall meeting, inviting residents to share their thoughts and experiences. At the town hall, Marcus spoke passionately about the need for accountability and systemic change. "This isn't just about my sister. It's about every individual who has been judged unfairly. We must demand better not just for ourselves, but for future generations." Marie sat in the audience, surrounded by her students and their families. She felt a sense of pride as she watched her brother advocate for justice. The room buzzed with energy, a collective determination to make a difference. In the weeks that followed, Clearwater implemented new training programs for law enforcement, focusing on implicit bias and community engagement. Grant and Miller faced disciplinary action and were required to attend mandatory retraining sessions. For Marie, life slowly returned to normal, but the incident left a lasting impact. She continued teaching with renewed purpose, incorporating lessons on empathy and equality into her curriculum. Her students responded with enthusiasm, eager to learn about the importance of standing up for what's right. One afternoon, a student approached her after class. "Miss Johnson, my mom said you're really brave. She said what happened to you could have happened to anyone." Marie knelt down to the child's level, her eyes kind and understanding. "Your mom is right. And that's why we have to look out for each other. Always. Stand up for what you believe in, no matter how hard it feels." As the child smiled and ran off, Marie felt a renewed sense of purpose. Her experience had been painful, but it had also been a catalyst for change. She knew there was still much work to be done, but for the first time in a while, she felt hopeful. Clearwater's streets seemed a little brighter in the weeks to come. The community had rallied together, proving that even in the face of adversity, unity and determination could spark meaningful change. And for Marie and Marcus, it was a reminder that justice, though often delayed, was always worth pursuing. Don't forget to follow the channel and subscribe for more stories. Take care.